Hello, my name is Erin Lovelace. My nickname is Cookie, and I am doing this video to, I don't know, try and do my part to help with all the things that are going on in America. First off, I just want to say that I saw this random post online yesterday or the day before saying that there were some Republicans in Congress that were saying that things were getting better, in our country, like that inflation has gone down, eggs are lower, all these different kinds of things. That rent is lower, more people are buying. So in my experience, it's not the truth. Eggs are still super high, as are a lot of groceries. The people that I see around me, everyday people walking by, they're not doing any better, they're doing worse. So I live in a socioeconomically stressed neighborhood. And some people would say it's the hood, however you want to address it, whatever you want to say. I think one of the things that you understand as a person who's born into a situation where there are limited funds, and it may not be that your parents, aren't working or haven't gone to school and all those kind of things, just circumstances are such that you're not making enough to substantiate what it is that you have to put out. So then, of course, you start struggling financially. And there's many different reasons for that, why people are in that position. But one thing that people need to understand is that most people in this country are in that position. Most people in this country are not doing well, are living paycheck to paycheck or beyond paycheck to paycheck. And if you don't know what that means that you get your paycheck, right? Maybe you can make it last for 2-3 days, hopefully middle of the next week. But whenever it runs out, because all the things that you have to do, whenever it runs out, that's it. That's all you have until next pay period. And so then you've got to find a way to make it with no money to next pay period. Then, of course, when next pay period comes, because you have run out of money, you're behind on things, so on and so forth. So then it's a cycle. When you get paid again, you got to pay your bills, whatever you were behind on, whatever late fees go along with that, so on and so forth. One of the other things that I am noticing as well is the whole issue with the realtors. Like, these people in the housing market are just getting away with too much. They have, they rent you these terrible homes, terrible apartments, terrible condos, whatever you want to call them. They don't like to fix them. They just do patchwork. They're not doing what they should do on their end, but they're going to make sure if you can't pay your money, you're going to pay late fees, so on and so forth. Let's make it make sense. If we know that in this country people are not making money, and we're not. If we know in this country that people are not making money, the average person isn't. The average person isn't able to take 2 vacations a year. Shoot, probably even 1. In reference to the realtors, for instance, at my house, and again, I'm not an anomaly. My house, I'm renting my house. It's $13.50 a month, and for some people that's not a lot, because a lot of people pay a lot more than that. $13.50 a month. It was $8.25. It went to $13.50 in a month, and my house has leaks in the foundation, in the roof, on the sides of the house. So water is constantly flowing in my house whenever there's water outside or things like that. And then also the pipage in my house is really bad. So water drains from that as well. As a result, all of my belongings, when I first moved into the house, are just destroyed. And it's probably about $5,000 worth of property. They threw all my stuff out in the backyard and just left it there. I came home from work, all my things were in the backyard. It rained that day. So a lot of stuff was already messed up because of the damage done because of things happening in the house. But another thing that happens is too that I've noticed, these realtors, they'll have these properties for a while, and I guess whatever happens, and then they have to get rid of them, or they choose to get rid of them. So then another realtor come in and buy the property and not know or claim they don't know about what was happening, just a week ago with the other owner or with the other realty company. So then you have to go through the process all over again. Then they want to try and say, oh, well, how do we know you didn't do this or you didn't cause this or da 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 da. So you live in subpar conditions, right? Mold is always an issue, and I'm sure we breathe in mold. Just all kinds of things. And see, the thing that happens is these realtors and these owners with these homes and these apartments, they figure because you don't have a lot of money, they can tell you don't have the money, or why would you be there? You don't have the money, they can do whatever they want to do. And what my realty company does now, the ones that are in charge of the home now, Superior Realty, what they do is, they send you constant communication. So it looks like they're on top of it. But in every other way, they fail. In every other way, they are piss poor and terrible. Some of the things that they have even told me is just like, do you think I'm stupid? Do you think I'm dumb? Why do you assume that because I'm in this low rent area, in this low rent house, that I'm dumb? Why does it have to be the case? Why can't I just have fallen on hard times? Who are you to judge me and to exploit my situation so that you guys can make more money? And I'm here living in subpar conditions. I could go on and on about this house. It's not just my house. It's the house next door, the one next to that, the one across the street, the one next to them. And these are people that get up every day with not a lot of hope. Because if all you see is struggle, lots of times you don't have a lot of hope. It's great if you do, if you can switch your paradigm and you could do that. But a lot of people, they kind of rest in what they see. These people work hard. They're not ne'er-do-wells living off the system. And yes, some of them may get benefits from the government, but it's to supplement what they already bring in because they're not bringing in enough. Or they're the only person doing it for a whole household. These people can't eat. These people can't feed their kids, can't get diapers. A lot of us, our water's turned off half the time, or our electricity, or our gas, because things are really tight this time. Something unexpected came up, and on top of what I already have to do that I don't really have the money for, so I got to let something go. I got to let a bill go, so I can take care of these things. Which one is the greater need? No one should have to live like that. Now, while I am the first to admit that struggle does give you certain characteristics that can be very positive and help you to learn how to make it and deal with adversity better than the average person, especially a person that's never had to struggle. But there are so many debilitating and negative things about it as well. I'm gonna tell you why a lot of the people in the hood, trailer parks, so on and so forth, don't believe that the government applies to our everyday life. Because you see on TV, oh, these people, these millionaires or this star or whatever is helping, doing grants for these kids in this area. Where are they? I don't see them in the poor and the lower working class. Maybe this is for middle class, upper middle class. Because I don't see those kind of things in the hood where I live. I don't see people coming out to the hood, mingling with the people out there, seeing what people need out there and trying to meet their needs. I don't see that happening. And I've spoken, of course, to other people who are in my situation, and neither do they. And of course, we are not the authority for the whole country, but I would imagine to say that a lot of people kind of have that going on. I think a lot of people, what you need to realize is you see on social media with all this stuff, doing all these things, they stunt. Or they had an opportunity. Or someone else had an opportunity and they were able to partake in their opportunity. The average person is not balling, nowhere near it. And it's getting worse. Again, I work hard every day. And I do other things to try and bring in income, to supplement income. I have a business called Cookie Strings where I do everything. I don't have money to outsource, so I do everything. I get my supplies, I do my social media, I do my photos and editing. I make the jewelry. I get my supplies or excavate whatever I need to do to get my supplies. I do all that. It's me. I publish on Amazon. Same thing with that. I write it, I edit it, all those kind of things. If you have to work so much just to be able to make it, when do you get to live? You're going to turn around and you're going to be super old and ready to die before you even have a chance to do anything worthwhile in your life besides struggle. And a lot of people are very humble and grateful for the opportunity to have overtime at their jobs or to be able to have some kind of side gig where they can make money. And so that's what they think about. They go and they do that and they work. They just focus on that. And with that, they use that to take care of their family, themselves, their friends. Maybe they could squeeze in a vacation, whatever. Maybe. How do you live if all you do is work and you see nothing for it? Where are the people that care about what we have going on? I mean, I would say the most likely political party to care about that kind of thing would be the Democrats, of course. And we need to vote. I know a lot of people have issues with voting. And I get it. I do. I get why you would have issues voting. Because again, it doesn't seem like whatever we vote for trickles down to us. But I have to say that I think things have gotten to such a point in our country that if we don't vote, it's going to be even worse for us. Because now I can say I feel things. Like I said, if you grow up and all you know is struggle or something like struggle, a lot of times you don't question too much in reference to making it and how things can be. You're just going to pave your own way in the world. You know what I mean? That's kind of how you move. Nowadays, it's not as easy to pave your own way. I mean, it was a lot easier back in the day, in my opinion, to be able to hustle and make it if you needed to. It's not as easy to do that nowadays. Everything is so controlled. So it's just not as easy. I just think that ideally, if we voted, we would see progress. We would feel relief, even the poor and the working classes. But I'm telling you, for most of us, it doesn't happen. So then that's why you have a lack of interest in voting. Oh, well, shit ain't gonna mean nothing to me anyway. I mean, I'm gonna still be struggling. Things are still gonna be hard. I think that I choose to hope and have faith in the possibility that one day the voting system will work for everyone. That one day the government will work for everyone. That one day people like me, you, and others, most of the people in this country, will be seen. Will be seen. And if we need assistance, given assistance, without castigation, without judgment. It's not a black thing, it's not a white thing, it's not Asian thing. It's not a Hispanic thing. We're all people. We're all humans, and we all have to live in this country. And so we all need to feel like the government works for us. We all need to feel like our leadership cares about who we are, who we may be. May not even know us, but you know if you did meet them, if they did know about you, they would care. Because right now, I'm not even going to say it seems like. The administration that we have now, they could get two fucks. Excuse my vulgarity, but two fucks about someone like me or you. Again, no matter your color. With the Republicans that are in office today doing what they're doing today, it's classism. It's all about what you bring in monetarily and what you can, what you can floss, what you can provide, all those kind of things. I think that supersedes racism, all of that. Because Trump will rub elbows with a rich black person that sees his views, that agrees with him with what he says. He's going to rub elbows with him. He'll rub elbows with a Hispanic or an Asian or Arabic person that has the same views that he does and makes hella money. Oh, yes, he will. I'm not saying he's not racist. But ultimately, this is a classist kind of thing. And, of course, he wants to be the head honcho of everything. And so, yes, that doesn't leave much for the common person. I think that's why we need to try and vote so we can get more Democrats in Congress that have say-so, that can fight for our rights. I know a lot of people are very disenchanted with the Democratic Party. They feel like they should fight more. They should be more aggressive, so on and so forth. And there are Democrats out there trying to do that and that are doing it. Of course, we know Bernie Sanders, AOC, Jasmine Crockett, just so many people. The Obamas, they speak out every now and then. There's so many people that are. Elizabeth Warren. I know I'm missing some people, and I apologize. There's YouTube channels that report on all these things and try and give hope and support and accurate information about what's going on in our government. The podcast, some of them, I can't remember all of them off the top of my head, but some of them are Brian Tyler Cohen, Occupy Democrats, Midas Touch. I really enjoy watching them because they do keep you abreast of what's going on, and the information is accurate. And they are Democrats and liberals, but they will even give positive information about Republicans if there is any. So, they do a really good job with that. There are places where you can get information that's real. It's just the average things like on the news, different things that you see, you just don't know if they've been modified or manipulated so that you can believe whatever wants you to believe. So, I know that can cause a lot of consternation about voting. But on the same hand, there are a lot of things in place so that voting can be what it's supposed to be. I think we still have a ways to go before that really happens. But I believe that it's something that we are going to have to help the Congress work with, or to do, to be completely honest. Because I don't know how else we can get things to benefit us in this country. The working class, the poor class, the lower middle class. I don't know. Besides trying that. And as long as, our voting process can be authentic, genuine, then maybe we will see some good results for things. I can say I did notice a difference in the way that things were done and how we were treated, what was available to us during Clinton's term, during President Obama's term, and even Biden's term. A lot of people have negative things to say about Biden, but even Biden, he did a lot of things and upkept a lot of things too that were for the people, average people like you and I. So there is always hope. There is always hope. And if we are ever going to make this country work for us, we have to fight for it, unfortunately. And I say unfortunately because if you are someone that is struggling financially in any kind of way, you're already fighting. You're fighting all day, every day. When you're tired, when you get up in the morning, you don't feel well, or you just don't feel right, you still have to fight. So yes, it's a lot to say, we have to fight for this voting system so that we could see some relief for us, some hope, some belief in this American dream. Of course, I lost belief in that a long time ago. I believe in Aaron's dream. So, but anyway, that was the reason why I wanted to make a video. I wanted to talk about things that are going on. Another thing I wanted to talk about, there's a lady in my neighborhood. She has two daughters. One's 11, one is 7, if I'm not mistaken. She works 2 jobs. One of her jobs is at night, and she's on the transit system. She was coming home the other night, and these 2 men accosted her. And I was coming home at the same time, and these 2 men accosted her. The police came. Police did not believe her. They're like, you look like you're homeless, ma'am. Are you trying to get some money? Da, da, da. She wasn't. I knew where she lived. She just didn't have a lot of money. She put all her money into her kids. So, I caught up with her and walked with her home. She was very upset. I went in her pantry. My God, I think I saw a can of peaches, some ravioli, some Chef Boyardee ravioli, a couple of cans of that. a can of green beans. In her fridge, she had some kind of milk. It wasn't regular cow's milk. It was something else, like oat milk or something, because one of her daughters is lactose intolerant. And their electricity was off. So when she had gotten accosted, she had some sandwiches from Subway that she had gotten at work well before she got off. And I'm sure it's what she was going to feed her and her kids, because their electricity's off. So she, of course, couldn't feed them that, because when the two men accosted her, they stepped on her food, messed it all up. But she didn't have anything to feed her kids. And then even without this situation that happened to her that particular night, as you can see, she still don't have a lot to feed her kids, much less herself. And again, when I tell you that these stories, I'm telling you, these situations, they are not anomalies. They are not anomalies. So many people are experiencing this. They cannot feed their children, feed themselves, living without electricity, living without water. It's worse than it's ever been. And again, I've been a part of the spectrum for a while now, because the careers that I have gone into don't produce a lot of money. So when I tell you that it's worse, it's worse. Not like there weren't people before who couldn't feed their babies or themselves. It's just a lot more people can't. And she doesn't have any family here. She's got family, I believe, in Nebraska, and they're not close. And she had her babies young, so her dad doesn't really deal with her too much. And she's kind of alone. I mean, God is always with you. But in reference to a human being being there, she's alone. I look at her and I just wonder how many of us are going through those kind of things. At my household, I'm the only breadwinner. And not because the person who's there with me is a ne'er-do-well, just because life has happened. Haven't been able to find a job recently. Looking, but haven't been able to find anything. So I do all of the financial things for the house. And it's hard. It's hard either way if you have to do that. But especially now, because things are so expensive. And I'm a vegetarian. So getting food for myself is not cheap. My significant other, he has gastritis and other kinds of things, so he can't just eat anything. And you don't want to do that anyway, which is what happens, of course, to the poor, because it's all we can afford most times. You have to sacrifice a lot to be able to eat well, which is ridiculous. It's just, it doesn't feel like there's any relief. And I know that with God, there's always hope, there's always relief, all those kind of things. Doesn't mean you're not going to go through hell to get to that point. And that's what people are going through. I mean, I know so many people that don't have vehicles, that have vehicles. But your car messes up, and you're barely making it. You can barely pay the rent and everything else. Whatever else your expenses are, daycare, whatever. You don't have enough money to fix your car, so then you don't have a car. It's really hard out here, guys. And I need people to remember that. I need our government to recognize it. And I know not all Republicans are bad. I know that. That's great Republicans in my time. And all different thought processes are needed to have, a democratic society. All thought processes have their place, for the most part.
So yeah. Oh, and you know what? I was looking over this video. I need to correct or be more clear about something that I said. When I was talking about the voting process being authentic, what I meant was MAGA, Republicans, Donald Trump, J.D. Vance, they try and pitch this idea that the elections have been tampered with. I do not believe that. I believe that our election system has pretty much always been authentic. I know that once Donald Trump came into the political scene, he changed that whole idea or concept. So at this point, I don't trust the voting process. I did not trust that the voting process necessarily made any kind of impact on the poor that you could feel that was necessarily different than what you already experience. But I know that there is a voting system, and that it was, or that it is, doing, it was doing as it was supposed to do. So I think if we can get the voting system back to the way that it was, and I don't know if we'll feel a big difference, but I do know that right now, with Trump being voted back into office, and of course we don't know that that's exactly authentic, but Trump being voted back into office, I can feel the effects of it. I can feel the effects of his regime. It's harder to make it than it was. And I don't know if this is a reflection of him or not, or just our country, period. There's so many homeless. Oh my God. I mean, just, a year, 2 years ago? No. Hardly no homeless. Not where you could see, but now it's everywhere. I mean, everywhere. Businesses are leaving downtown because they have urine, defecation, all kinds of horrible other things right in front of their business, going on. I mean, it's just, you go down some streets and there's nothing but homeless people. Nothing but homeless. I mean, they'll run that area. Yeah, it's really bad. Anyway, yes, that's what this video was for. It was to impress upon people that you are not alone, and that even though things are as bad as they are, and they may get worse, rely on God, have faith, and keep moving forward as much as you can. It's okay to stop and cry. It's okay to scream, holler, not have a great day, not have a great 2-3 days, because life happens anyway. And it's not always a good thing, but like I said, it's even worse than normal. So just do everything you can to not allow all these crazy things that are going on in our country to mess with your mood, your peace. And again, I know it's hard. I'm definitely living it. I know it's hard. But you can't let it get the best of you. Good luck, everybody. God be with you. You are not alone.